All right, this is aoihttp, and today I'm looking at timing from HackTheBox, and specifically we've got a login form HTTP post that takes longer to return when the username is correct than it does when the username is incorrect. And so this is a side channel attack, specifically it's a timing attack that we're going to try to pull off using a Python script to measure the time of request and brute force over word lists or an input list of names and return the ones that come back valid. So do stick around till the end. There's a little, I start to say goodbye and then I added a little bit more on at the end, more of a plea for help. So I got stuck. I'd love to see if some of y'all can help me. So with that, we'll go ahead and dive in. All right, so we're looking at timing and we're going to run this and we can see right here, I've got this login page. And if I do this login page, I'm going to just show it with aoihttp and here I'm going to show it with, I'll talk about this in a second, it just takes a minute. So when I try to post my login, here's my curl with my data, which makes it a post by default. When I try to post it with a user that doesn't exist, me, it takes 0.2 seconds to return. 1.9 something, 1.8 something like that. Or sorry, 0.19, 0.18, so less than 0.2 seconds. When I post with a user that does exist, admin, for example, it takes 1.2, really 1.3 seconds to return. And so I've got this timing attack where it takes significantly longer to fail a login with a legit user than with a user who doesn't. And so I want to exploit that to find usernames. So what we're going to do is write a quick Python script to do that. And it's always easier to show Python script development in a video than it is in a blog post. So that's where we are today. So we'll go ahead and do, in fact, let's do them validate users.py. And we will put our shebang in there. You can spell Python 3. We're going to import requests, because requests is going to be our module we use to make HTTP requests. I'm also going to import sys, so I can read from the command line, so I can take in my word list. So we'll do a with open sys.argv1. We'll be reading that as f, as f. And then we'll do names equals f.read lines. In fact, actually, I'm not going to do read lines. Read lines is nice because it gives you an array of all the lines, but it keeps the new line on the end. And I find that annoying. I usually have to strip it. So we'll just do read.split on new line, so that when you split on something, the thing you split on gets removed, and then you just get an array of what was between it. So that'll look good. And then we need to create our request. So we'll do like response equals requests.post. And I don't remember exactly what that looks like. In fact, let's go down here, go up here, oops, the vim, validate, and up here we'll do that. Okay, so our URL is this right here. Login equals true. Put that there. And we'll do data equals, and we'll need that. So the first thing we need is user. And that'll be name. We're not doing a loop. Oh, we should do a loop. So we'll do for name in names. And then this will be name. And then we need password. And we just want something that doesn't actually exist here. Because we don't actually, we'd love to log in. That's the whole point. We're working towards that eventually. But for now, we're just going to guess something that's not the password so it would screw up our logic. We're assuming it's failing. So that looks good. And now this response object is going to have some way to tell me the time, and I can't remember exactly what that is. So we are just going to come up here and do Python 3. Oh, on this machine, Python is Python 3, but just for making it clear, this, and we will do, so I really only want one. Okay, we're going to make, so right now, we're going to make a quick detour. I want this to be able to take in a word list or a comma separated list of names. And so I'm going to do something where I come up here and try like aoihttp, and it's going to fail with a file not found error. So we'll come in here and we'll do try. Is that right? Cool. And then we will come down here and accept. And we'll put this file not found error. And if that's the case, names equals sys.argv1.split on comma. Now I'm not error checking for like what happens if you put space separated or other stuff in there. That's just going to be weird, but because I'm the user of the script, I don't have to really check for all that. Okay, so that looks good. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't remember, I want to look at this response object. So I'm just going to run this with a -i. And what that's going to do is it's going to run to the end and it's going to give me a prompt. And so response is going to be the response. There's my response 200. So I can come up here and do a dir on that. Look and see what we got here. There's a thing in here, elapsed. So if I do response.elapsed, I get a time delta object or a datetime time delta object. That's cool. Let's see, I want to get like those microseconds out of there. There's microseconds, there's seconds, and there's total seconds. So let's look at each of those. Microseconds, that looks usable potentially. Seconds, it's not usable. That's because it's rounding to an int. Clearly that's a function. Okay. We'll use that because that's more intuitive to work on total fractional seconds than it is to try to work on microseconds. So we'll come down here and we will. So we can do if response.elapsed.total seconds greater than, and we can look up here. We saw before we were looking at like 0.2 and 1.3. So we, for the sake of simplicity, we'll do 1. Also, we looked at the source code previously in this box, and we knew that it's going to be, it adds a second if the username is right. So we know that's a good cutting point. Just based on that data, maybe I would go with 0.6 or 0.7. But anyway, we're doing fine here. So then we'll do print f-string. Give ourselves a look like a plus here. Valid user name. Something like that. Run that and see how it looks. We don't need the -i anymore because we want to just run it. It didn't work. Let's try. We know from just guessing that admin was a valid username and it returns this valid username. Cool. So now we can do user share sec lists. Try usernames. What do we got here? Let's cert default usernames. I have no idea how long that is. Let's check it out. Oops, I didn't. Well, okay. So 828 lines. Let's see how long that takes. I honestly don't know if that's fast. If this can go fast or not. I'm a little suspicious it's not going to feel fast. And we don't know. And I hate. Well, there we got a user. We got a valid user. That's good, I guess. I hate it though. And so this is perfectly good enough to solve the challenge, right? But being the kind of like OCD neat freak I am, I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. So let's go in here and we will do print, and we're gonna put, make this an f string for sure. We're gonna put a /r at the front, and what that's gonna do at the beginning of each line, it's gonna move the cursor back to the start of the line. And so we will print try like name that, and I'm gonna go ahead and make name take at least 70 characters. That way, if it prints a 5-character name and the next one's 4 characters, you don't, go back to the beginning, print the first 4, but then you're still going to have that 5th character lingering. So we're just going to space fill it like that. And then we'll do end equals that. So we don't put any new lines on it. And we'll do flush equals true so that we make sure to print it even without the new line. And then we come down here and we also want to do that same thing. So if I'll be like, oh, I'm searching for admin. And then it's going to say, go back to the beginning of the line, overwrite that admin print. And this time I don't have an end equals nothing, so it's going to actually go to the next line, and then it'll just keep going. So let's give that a try and see what it looks like. That's cool. We can see here it's like the different lines are going through. It found, oh, here's finding admin, and boom, it found admin, and it's keeps going. You can see my cursor is actually floating out over here because that's the 70 character mark. So it's filling that space each time. That's good. One other thing I want to do just to make this even kind of cleaner. I'm gonna put enumerate names. So when you do for something in names, it goes over and gives you each name one at a time. When you do enumerate around a list like that, it's going to return a tuple or a pair of the index, in this case I, and then the value. So now I can come in here and say, let's put in like this, we'll put that here, and we'll say like I, and we'll make I don't know, what do we think? I'm not going to do more than 4. If I'm doing that long a list, it's clearly not fast enough. It's going to take forever. And then we'll do divided by len names. I could probably make this static if I needed to. and we'll make that 04 as well. See how that looks. Cool. So now you can see what we're doing here is we have out of 829, we're on number 8. We can tell exactly where we are. We found a name, and it's going to run through. That is looking pretty good. I'm not going to stop it and start it over, but I do want, unless the last one happens to be a valid name, it's going to leave me on a line that's messed up. So I'm going to put a print at the end to make it nice and pretty. I don't know. I think we got something that works here. We got something that works. It takes in either a list of a word list with one username per line, or I can pass it in comma separated ones. I guess I could show that real quick. I could do that. We could do oxdf, ipsec admin trx, and we run that, and there we go. If we want to be really clean about it, what we would actually do here is we would print I guess we put space times 70 here. So we come in here and do \r plus something like that, so that way I don't really need this f here. That way it wipes the last line. See if that looks better. See, there you go. But that's, again, this is all kind of academic at this point. I guess this is good enough for sure. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and call the video, get back to surging ahead on this box in the blog post, and hopefully you enjoyed this and learned something. Talk to you next time. Okay, so a little bit of a head fake here. I'm back for one more quick thing. Finished that video and I thought, man, I would love it if that could go faster. And I recently did a video, don't remember what box it was for, but I was looking at brute forcing across a bunch of different, I had a LFI where I could read from /proc, and I showed how I could use async IO or aoihttp to do those requests very fast. And I thought I can apply that here. Maybe that'd be a cool little back half of the video, and I'm stuck. I can't figure it out. I have tried a lot of different things. It works perfectly good when I'm trying to do one request. I can time it, but I think what's happening is when I queue up, 890 or let's say 1,000 requests, it doesn't send all 1,000. It sends the first 50 or 100, and everything I can do to measure start time seems to start from the time I say to the program, do this request, not when it actually sends it. So that queue time is getting caught up in the time. And so basically, effectively what happens is I start off at the beginning and it's working perfectly fine, but the time is slowly building, and all of a sudden I reach a point in the list where everything is greater than 1 second. And it just starts printing out all the stuff. And that's clearly not what I'm trying to measure, and I can't measure it. So I've tried a bunch of different stuff. So I'm going to throw this back out to the crowd here. Please leave me a comment if you know how to do this, or you're welcome to, my email address is on the website, or you can hit me on Twitter, or just reach out somehow, because I'd love to learn how to do this. Maybe we can post an update or something and let the world know how to do it. But I couldn't figure it out, so I did find the GitHub request on the aoihttp library, just asking for an elapsed like request has, and for some reason they rejected it. So they said it was too complicated. I would like to have it. So with that, I'm going to actually be gone this time. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end, and I'll talk to you next time.